example 1 asks us to solve and verify. Well, the solve part's pretty easy, but the verify is actually going to take a bit. So we'll get started by solving the equations. The first one tells us we've got 2x squared minus 1 equals 5. So I'm just going to move my number over, and it's going to be plus 1. So I'm going to be looking at 2x squared equals 5 plus 1 equals 6. And then I can see that there's a 2 being multiplied on this side, so I'm going to want to divide them. That'll get rid of that. X squared is just going to be equal to 3, so I need to take the square root of that and the square root of that. So x is going to be equal to the square root of 3. That's going to be a positive or a negative value because it could be either. So that was easy. The part where it says verify means that you have to take the original equation and plug in your new value for x to see if it works. So I'm going to, I guess I'll just keep with this one. So now I've got 2 times the square root of 3 squared minus 1 equals 5. Now, in your book, they would do this in 2 separate equations. I'm going to cheat a little bit and recognize that no matter if this is a positive or a negative, it's being squared right away, which means it's going to come out as a positive. So for either of the solutions, you're going to get the same answer. So I'm going to take the square root of 3 and square it, which means it's just going to be 3. And then go 2 times 3 minus 1 equals 5. 2 times 3 is 6. Minus 1, yeah, it equals 5. Perfect. So we're going to move on to the next equation, B. It says x minus 4 squared equals 12. So we want to look at it right away and go, oh, it's got a square. Everything is squared on the left-hand side. So I'm going to take the square root right away and get rid of that. So we'll just take the square root of that and the square root of that. We are left with x minus 4 equals the square root of 12, remembering that this could be positive or negative. Now, in order to get x by itself, all I have to do is move the 4 over and make it a positive 4. So x is going to be equal to 4 plus or minus root 12. Order doesn't really matter which way you write it. Your book's going to write it this way. So now we need to substitute it back in. So this part here is going to go right here in my original equation. So it's going to be 4 plus, well, we could do this one separately. So 4 plus root 12 minus 4. There's the minus 4. Now it's down here. Squared equals 12. This one's a little bit messy, but we can see right away that I've got some like terms within these brackets that I can collect. I've got a 4 here and a negative 4 here. Well, when you add 4 and negative 4, you get 0, so they kind of cancel each other out. So those guys are gone, and all I'm left with is root 12 squared equals 12. Yes, that's true. If it's a positive, it's going to be true. If we were to just look at this and go through it again using the negative value, I would have 4 minus root 12 minus 4 squared equals 12. We'll just make a check mark there knowing we finished that one. Again, the 4 and the negative 4 haven't been affected by the fact that we're using a negative root 12 right now, so that still is going to cancel out. Now we're left with root, or negative root 12 squared minus 12, or sorry, equals 12. And is that true? Well, the negative is going to be taken out by the squaring process, which means yes, that one's true as well. So even though it was a little stickier with the extra numbers in there, it basically followed the same pattern. You can see that we have solved them here and here. And then we plugged that value into the original equation to see if it was actually true. Worked out.